You send the message. Then you wait. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you check your phone again. Nothing. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts running. Did I say something wrong? Are they pulling away? Is this the beginning of the end? And then they reply. Something simple, something completely normal. And just like that, the anxiety disappears for about 20 minutes. Then the cycle starts again. If that felt uncomfortably familiar, if that felt like a Tuesday, this video is for you, because what you just heard isn't just being a little anxious. It's one of the clearest signs of anxious attachment. And understanding it, really understanding it, might be the thing that finally explains why love has always felt like this. Welcome to IntimIQ, where we use psychology and neuroscience to help you understand the relationships in your life at a deeper level. Today we're talking about anxious attachment, one of the 3 main attachment styles first identified by psychologist John Bowlby in the 1960s and later applied to adult relationships by researchers Cindy Hazen and Philip Shaver. About 20% of the population has an anxious attachment style. That is 1 in 5 people, and yet the overwhelming majority of them have spent years believing something was simply wrong with them, that they were too much, too needy, too sensitive, too intense. They weren't, they aren't, and you aren't either. Anxious attachment isn't a flaw, it's a survival response. It developed because your early experiences with love taught your nervous system that connection is wonderful, but fragile, that people can disappear, that love has to be earned and monitored and worked for constantly. Here are 8 signs that this pattern is playing out in your life, and what the science says about where each one actually comes from. Sign number 1. You treat every small signal as data, and your brain never stops analysing it. A short reply where they usually write a paragraph. A slightly different tone in a voice note. The fact that they watched your story but didn't message. An okay instead of an okay. To someone with a secure attachment style, these are meaningless details. To someone with anxious attachment, they are evidence. Clues to be assembled into a picture, usually a frightening one. This isn't paranoia, this is hypervigilance. A term from psychology describing a state of heightened alertness to potential threats. And in the context of attachment, the threat the brain is scanning for is abandonment. Research by Dr. Mario Mikulinsa, one of the world's leading attachment researchers, found that anxiously attached individuals have a highly activated attachment system, meaning their brain is essentially running an emotional security check on their relationships almost constantly. The exhausting part is that the analysis rarely brings peace, because the goal isn't information, the goal is reassurance, and reassurance from external sources never really sticks. Sign number 2, you need regular reassurance, and you feel guilty about it. Do you still love me? Are we okay? Are you sure you're not upset with me? You might ask these questions out loud, or you might ask them silently, looking for answers in your partner's tone, their timing, their body language, and the guilt compounds it. Because you know you've asked before. You know the answer was yes, but the yes didn't stay, it faded, and now you need to hear it again. Here's the psychology of why this happens. When a child grows up with an inconsistent caregiver, someone who is sometimes warm and sometimes distant, sometimes present and sometimes emotionally unavailable, their brain never builds a stable internal model of I am loved. Instead, it builds a model of love is sometimes here and sometimes gone. And I need to keep checking. That model follows you into adulthood. And so the reassurance seeking isn't neediness. It's a nervous system still trying to solve a problem from 20 years ago. The hard truth, and the hopeful one, is that no amount of external reassurance will ever fix this permanently. That sense of security has to be built from the inside. Sign number 3. When someone pulls away even slightly, you immediately assume it's about you. Your partner is quiet because they're tired. They need a night alone because they're overwhelmed at work. They take a day to reply because life got busy. But to the anxiously attached person, space doesn't feel like space. It feels like a signal, a withdrawal, the beginning of something, and so the mind fills the void. If they're being distant, something must be wrong. If something is wrong, it's probably something I did. If it's something I did, I need to fix it. Now, attachment researchers describe this as negative attribution bias, the tendency to interpret a partner's neutral or ambiguous behavior as negative and personally directed. It's important to understand that this isn't irrational. It's the result of a childhood where distance from a caregiver genuinely did mean something was wrong, where silence was a warning, where a parent's mood shift really was about you. Your nervous system learned to read the room with painful precision. And it hasn't stopped, even in relationships where the danger isn't actually there. Sign number 4. The fear of being left is not a background worry. It is a constant low-level hum that shapes nearly everything you do in relationships. You stay in relationships that aren't working because leaving feels less safe than staying. You avoid conflict because you're afraid that one argument might make someone walk away. You say yes when you mean no because you're afraid that honesty might cost you the relationship. And sometimes, often, you can feel the fear most strongly when things are going well. Because when things are going well, there's something to lose. This is what psychologists call anticipatory abandonment anxiety. The fear not of something that is happening, but of something that might happen. The brain, having learned that loss is possible, starts protecting against it preemptively. The cost is enormous because you're not just living in your relationship, you're living in your relationship and a parallel imaginary one. The one where it all falls apart. Dr. Amir Levine notes that anxiously attached people spend significantly more cognitive energy on their relationships than securely attached to people, not because their relationships are harder, but because their threat detection system is always running. Sign number 5. Your emotional reactions can go from calm to intense in seconds. And sometimes you don't fully understand why. A cancelled plan doesn't just disappoint you, it devastates you. A slightly cold response doesn't just sting, it sends you into a spiral. And later, once things are resolved, you often feel embarrassed by the intensity of your reaction. This pattern has a name: emotional dysregulation. And in people with anxious attachment, it's closely connected to a hyperactivated limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for processing threat and emotion. A 2010 study published in the journal Attachment and Human Development found that anxiously attached adults showed significantly higher emotional reactivity to relationship stresses compared to securely attached adults, and took longer to return to emotional baseline after the stressor passed. What this means in practice is that you're not overreacting. Your emotional system is responding to what it perceives as a genuine threat. The potential loss of connection. The intensity of the reaction is proportional to how much the relationship matters to you and how unsafe your nervous system believes loss to be. That context doesn't make the intensity easier to live with, but it does mean it makes sense. Sign number 6. Solitude feels uncomfortable in a way that's hard to explain to people who don't experience it. When you're with someone you love, you feel most like yourself. When that person isn't there, when you're home alone, when a relationship ends, when someone is simply out of reach for a day. There's an unsettled quality to the silence, an ache, an incompleteness. This isn't weakness. This is co-regulation, one of the most fundamental functions of human attachment. Neuroscientist Dr. Louis Cozzolino explains it this way. From infancy, our nervous systems are designed to regulate through connection. The heartbeat of a parent calms a baby's stress response. The presence of a trusted person lowers cortisol. We are, quite literally, built to feel safer together. For anxiously attached people, this co-regulatory need is amplified. Solitude doesn't just feel quiet, it feels unsafe, because the baseline sense of security that securely attached people carry internally, the anxiously attached person experiences primarily through connection. Learning to self-regulate, to be able to be with yourself without distress, is one of the most transformative things an anxiously attached person can do. Not to need people less, but to be able to choose them more freely. Sign number 7. In new relationships, you tend to invest intensely, very quickly, and it often doesn't end well. You fall hard. You make yourself available. You think about them constantly. You may share deep things early, plan a future quietly in your mind, or feel a certainty about the connection that the other person hasn't caught up to yet. This isn't foolishness, and it isn't desperation. It's the anxious attachment system doing what it does, pursuing closeness as quickly as possible, because closeness is what feels safe. The problem is that this level of intensity can overwhelm people who aren't similarly wired, and ironically, anxiously attached people often find themselves most attracted to avoidantly attached people who pull back when things get close, which activates the very abandonment fear that drives the overinvestment in the first place. This pattern, known as the anxious avoidant trap, is one of the most common and painful dynamics in adult relationships. Each person triggers the other's deepest wound. The anxious person pursues. The avoidant retreats. The more the avoidant retreats, the harder the anxious person pursues. Recognizing this cycle is the first step to stepping outside of it. 8 signs. And if most of them felt like a portrait of you, first I want you to breathe, because this level of self-recognition is rare, and it means you're already doing the hardest part of change, seeing yourself clearly. Anxious attachment is not a life sentence. Decades of research show that attachment styles are not fixed. They shift through self-awareness, through therapy, through what researchers call earned security. The process of having enough safe, consistent, relational experiences that the nervous system starts to update its model of what love is allowed to feel like. It's slow work, it's worth it. Here is one thing you can do right now. The next time you feel the urge to seek reassurance, to send that checking in message, to ask, "Are we okay?" again, pause for 60 seconds first. Notice the anxiety in your body, name it, breathe through it. You don't have to act on every alarm your nervous system sounds. The alarm is old. The danger it was built for may no longer exist. Drop in the comments how many of these 8 signs did you recognize in yourself? And if there's someone in your life you think might need to hear this, share this video with them. Next week on IntimIQ, we're looking at something that millions of people experience, but almost nobody catches in time: love bombing. Why it feels so good, what it does to your brain, and the 7 signs that what you're experiencing might not be love at all. Subscribe so you're there. I'll see you then.